What we were hoping to do was create an extension of the house into the backyard. And with the outdoor living room into the pool, with the gazebo on the side, it created a space that we can have a lot of people around, and we can be very fluid, or it can be completely empty. And when my wife and I come home from work, we can have a drink and sit out in the patio. If it's cool, we keep the doors closed. If it's beautiful like today, we open everything wide open, and it's like you're at a resort. So when my wife and I started working on this, we sort of sketched out what each would like to see in the backyard. Victoria used to have a pool in her old backyard, and I thought that would be pretty awesome. So that was something we really agreed on immediately. We really wanted to make an extension of the yard, not just a pool. And so we started thinking about other things that we could be doing around the pool that could make it something special. We talked to a couple different companies, a couple landscape design and installation companies. When Josh came over, rather than sitting down and starting to sketch things out, we sat together in the backyard, and he said, before we get into what you want, let me tell you about our company and the way we run things. If that is important to you, then we can talk about what you're looking for and see if we can deliver that. So he started by talking about the culture of the business, talking about how he runs the companies, how he manages employees, the fact that landscape companies don't typically hold employees very long, but because of the culture he's created, he tends to have people that have been with him for many years. That meant a lot to me. That's very similar to the way my wife and I run our businesses. Working with the staff and the crew has been a great experience, very personable, very polite, always clean up the job site when they were finished for the day, interacted, very happy to have conversations. If I had a question about why something was being done a particular way, they stopped and took the time to do it. There were a couple of times when they were starting part of a project. I'm thinking particularly about the stone walls we had added in the back. And the man who was working on that, as he was getting ready to start, he asked me to come over and we talked a little bit about it. He said, let me tell you about how I build a stone wall. And it may not be exactly what you were thinking, so I want to make sure we're on the same page. And he laid it out. He showed me about the construction technique that he uses. And I thought, this is a craftsman. This isn't some guy who showed up this morning to move some stones around. This is somebody who understands their job and understands how to deal with a customer. If I was going to offer advice to someone considering this job, I would start with Josh's advice, which is create the grand scheme first, create the grand design first, and then figure out the best way to implement that. And that's when you bring in a professional crew like Josh Landscape that can show you the correct order of operations. Working with Josh Landscape has been a real pleasure. Everything that we agreed to has been delivered on in a timely way, in an accurate way, and in a cost-efficient way. And I think that this multi-year approach, but having a grand plan to start, really made the whole project better. But the most important thing to me was they didn't forget about me in year 2 or in year 3, or when something small had to be tweaked. They were very happy to come back and take care of that.